Finding a healthy meal that your kids will love can be tricky, but Chef Tagan Engel of City Seed is here now with her son Io to tell us about some ways to get kids to eat those green veggies. Welcome to the show. It's nice to have you both here.
Thank you. Nice to be here.
We're eating healthy today, and that can be tricky for moms, I would assume, to get their kids to eat greens. Any tips?
Well, I think people think it's tricky, but it's not really as tricky as...
You don't have to hide it or conceal it?
Sometimes we hide it. So some of the tricks are having some good staples in your house, either fresh or frozen vegetables. I often keep frozen vegetables for an emergency, which is how this recipe invented itself.
Okay.
And sometimes we hide our veggies under some melted cheese or mixed into a soup or something so that it's easier to get a larger portion of vegetables into kids' meals and adult meals as well.
I see. And we have a cookbook here. Tell us about that.
Yes, so New Haven Cooks is Cocina New Haven is a bilingual cookbook that was created through funding from the Connecticut Department of Public Health and City Seed, and it's a community cookbook I worked on for nearly 2 years to put together, and has recipes from people all around New Haven that feature fruits and vegetables.
Great.
Yeah.
All right, and what are we making here today?
We are making a sort of tortilla pizza, and what's wonderful about this recipe is that it's very versatile. You can put any kind of toppings on it, and we put a little cheese on top and put it in the oven. It takes just a few minutes. It's delicious and it's easy.
Is this one of your favorites? Do you like this one?
Yes, he does.
If you want, you could put hot sauce on it.
You could put hot sauce, yes, at the end.
Okay.
So, we have two kinds of tortillas here. We have a whole wheat flour tortilla, which is more nutritious than having a white flour tortilla and tastes just as great, and then a corn tortilla. So we put a little bit of oil on a baking sheet lined with foil, and put some tortillas down, and Io's going to help me top these off.
Great.
And then we're going to put some flour tortillas on this side, and then we have a lot of different kinds of vegetables, and also beans. When I'm cooking food for my kids, I try to think about having half the meal be some combination of fruits and vegetables, and then a portion of protein, like beans or meat or eggs, and then a grain. So we have our grain here, and then one of the easy, affordable proteins are beans. These actually came from a can.
Oh, you could do that. Canned is okay?
You can do it from a can. If you have time to make a large pot of dry beans, that's great as well. And there's a great recipe in the cookbook for black beans with sneaky greens. They're very easy. You don't have to soak them overnight. Okay. So we're just going to sprinkle some beans on.
This would act kind of like the sauce, I would assume, of a pizza, maybe?
Yeah, sure. So we put some beans on. You want to do some too? Come on over. Why don't you put some of the red beans on. And then we have an assortment of different vegetables. So you can use some fresh veggies like some peppers. This is some corn. Corn is in season right now, so I just cut this fresh corn right off the cob. But you can also do frozen vegetables. So these are just some peas and corn. Okay. You don't want to cover the tortilla too much because you want the cheese that we're going to put on top to kind of melt down in between the vegetables and get nice and crispy and delicious.
Oh, this is kind of fun, isn't it? Mm-hmm. Right? Making pizzas with mom in the kitchen?
So another great option is turkey is a nice thing. We sometimes have some sliced turkey that we use for lunch meat, but it can be you can use just 1 or 2 slices as flavor and protein for dinner. Okay. Turkey, apple, and cheddar is a wonderful...
that is a nice combination.
A wonderful combination. So we can have some apple, just put a few slices of apple on there.
Now, Chef Tagan, you also have a food blog where people can find some more information.
I do. It's called Tagan's Kitchen. You can Google Tagan's Kitchen and it'll pop up. Okay. And I have all kinds of things on there. There's recipes for cooking with kids, there's recipes for adults, and there's information about growing your own food and food justice work that I do around New Haven, and around the country.
I'm assuming you probably have the oven preheated to something?
I do. The oven is preheated to 450 degrees. Okay. So we can put on some vegetables like this. Broccoli I often keep steamed in my fridge,
ready to
so
go,
it's easy to pull out, but you can do it raw as well. You can also take some spinach that you chop up and put on. So I'm just going to show we can do a little pinch of salt, or if you have any fresh herbs that you have at home.
That would work too, right?
That would work too.
Now, do you use a specific type of cheese, or probably doesn't matter too much?
I love extra sharp cheddar because it has a lot of flavor.
Okay.
And just hold on one sec. So I wanted to show one little trick that I use at home. I buy these big blocks of cheese because they're much more inexpensive than buying already shredded cheese.
Okay.
But I hate making a mess on that grater because it's such a pain to wash. So I just take a vegetable peeler and I just peel the cheese in these nice little strips like that.
Oh, that is easy.
Then you're not getting this huge amount of cheese, so it's healthier, and you get to just easily cover, I already cut some up here, we just kind of easily cover these tortillas
Okay.
like this.
Tagan, we have about 30 seconds left. Tell me about an event coming up in October.
Yes, the first ever food day is happening in October, and this is kind of like Earth Day, but for food.
I love that.
Yes,
Who doesn't
and
like
so
food?
we're trying to get people all around New Haven to do potlucks, cooking competitions at their churches, you know, having a potluck in the street kind of thing, and it's just to get people in New Haven cooking fresh, healthy food and eating it together.
All right, well, we're going to throw these in the oven and we'll taste it at the end of the show. I want to thank you both for being here. Of course, you could find the recipe on WTNH.com. Stay with us. There's more Connecticut Style coming up after the break. And we're going to hear about a nonprofit organization that's stepping up to help families. That's when we return.